Well, it's about time. Black Ops 6 is fixing a few critical issues with the recent COD titles stemming from that COD HQ, and today we got a big surprise blog post announcing these changes and adjustments that are coming with Black Ops 6, but interestingly enough, they're actually starting with Modern Warfare 3's Season 5 Reloaded update next week. So today we're breaking down what you need to know, what these new technical changes mean for Black Ops 6 as a whole, and the franchise going forward, and more. So as we go along, drop your thoughts down below. What do you think of these adjustments made to the COD HQ and each individual title, and the experience as a whole? Let me know, and make sure to drop a like and subscribe for more Black Ops 6 coverage along with other FPS content. We've got so much still upcoming this month. The next 2 weeks alone, I mean, we're incredibly busy. We've got a campaign reveal on Tuesday, a new seasonal update on Wednesday, then the following week is COD Next and that Black Ops 6 multiplayer beta. So make sure you're here for all that coverage. I'd love to have in the community, but for now, let's get into it. The first thing they detailed was kind of a roadmap of upcoming updates here. One, this upcoming week on August 21st, then you have the open beta on the 30th. In mid-October, there's something coming. October 25th with the launch of Black Ops 6, there's more coming, and at Season 1 as well. In this blog post, at a top level, we learned about new streamlined interfaces for Black Ops 6 and the COD HQ, direct access to games, more control over your downloads, including the Warzone content, and expanded streaming technologies to reduce file sizes. So let's break those down a little further. What exactly do they mean by these, and what do these changes entail? So firstly, Season 5 Reloaded this upcoming week, that's where we're going to see a big number of changes across the COD HQ. First and foremost, one of the things they detailed was the decoupling of Warzone and the annual release. So that means that when you purchase an annual title, you will only need to download the files for that game by default. Previously, Warzone at some base level was tethered into that, offering up anywhere from like 10, 20, 30 gigabytes of baseline data that was needed, that even if you didn't play Warzone, it still contributed to that file size. That is now no longer going to be the case. So this is the first of a couple of about time type of situations here within the COD HQ and upcoming for Black Ops 6. I mean, when we learned about everything going into one sort of application that was the Call of Duty HQ, that was one of the selling points, that you'd be able to decouple from that and you wouldn't have to download everything. But still, up until this point, you had a little bit of that tethering data. That will now no longer be the case. So big fan of that one. In relation to the upcoming update, we also learned that with Season 5 Reloaded's update, we're also going to see an expanded texture streaming technology introduced here, where this is a more focus on streaming textures to save file sizing, with two new options introduced in the settings that you can toggle. Optimized by default, which content will appear at high fidelity graphical quality, which increases that bandwidth usage, but then you also have the option to change it to minimal, which will lower the internet bandwidth use, but also reduce the graphical quality. Now, my only concern here at this one is that this sounds like this forces texture streaming at this point. I'm hoping that's not the case, but it sounds like it. I like the ability to have that option that if you don't want a larger file size, you can texture stream stuff, but I feel like fundamentally you should have the option to either do that with texture streaming or opt into file localization that does then increase that download size for the game, but keeps everything local as we've seen in the past. That would then avoid packet burst and latency issues caused by texture streaming that honestly is the other edge of that sword. And while it's great for a subset of players that want to stream things, players like, say, in far out rural areas may end up having issues with this and suffer a bit because of the prospect of maybe less bandwidth available to them. So that's something that's added with this update upcoming and will affect the future, but that in particular, not entirely sure how I feel about that one just yet. I think if you have the option to opt into localization, you give the option of having a larger file size or decreasing it, but then it gives a bit more choice to the player. But anyways, that's what we learned about. The download sizes and experience here upcoming is something that initially is going to offer a big download. Like Season 5 Reloaded is going to be a hefty download by the sounds of it, but in terms of the larger picture here, it's not going to be as heavy on your hard drives or bandwidth. It's actually mentioned the initial download will not permanently add to the stated file size to the storage space that Call of Duty takes up on your device. The update is reorganizing game files and adding new tech to prepare for the full player interface arriving in October. Once complete, Call of Duty's footprint will decrease due to these file optimizations. So while it's going to be a larger download, it's actually going to make everything smaller in the grand scheme of things. Now, that's the immediate future here and what we can expect within the next week as of next week's Season 5 Reloaded update. But to accommodate for how large of an update this is going to be and how it's probably going to be a hassle for some players, Call of Duty is giving a free community pack as a sort of thank you for bearing with this massive update. The changes coming as of Season 5 Reloaded. That pack can be redeemed just by simply logging on, it seems like, from the update on Wednesday until the end of Season 5. That pack will include 10 1-hour double player XP tokens, 10 1-hour double weapon XP tokens, and 10 Battle Pass token tier skips. So, like, not a bad gift at all for just downloading a seasonal update as is. Yeah, it might be a pain for some players, but that seems like a decent boost, I think, for whatever you may need to use that at. Now, it has not yet been detailed if all of these things will transfer over into Black Ops 6. As we've talked about in the past, I'm theorizing that at least the XP tokens will be transferring over because those are COD HQ items. You can end up using double XP tokens in Modern Warfare 2, pulling from your bank of what you see in Modern Warfare 3. It's all the same. It's all connected in that sense. The Battle Pass tokens, that's just something that we don't know if they'll be able to transfer out of the season, so that is probably what I wouldn't expect to transfer or be able to be saved for any point. Like, if you want to save these 10 hours of double weapon XP tokens until Black Ops 6, you seemingly might be able to, but the Battle Pass tokens might not be the case. But anyways, beyond that, we learned a little bit about the Black Ops 6 beta. The interesting part is that players with Call of Duty and the Season 5 Reloaded update with Modern Warfare 3 will automatically receive the beta as an update to their existing install. And what's curious is this is why we've seen so many leaks recently from when the beta build was in the COD HQ. It was pushed to live, not available to download for retail consoles or anything just yet, but it was in that database of the COD HQ. And so when they pushed it live to the COD HQ before making it available to everybody, players with like jailbroken PlayStations could end up accessing it. So that was removed. It's now going to be re-added with Season 5 Reloaded, but players will be able to preload the Black Ops 6 beta content starting on the 28th, 2 days earlier here, the day of COD Next. So you want to make sure you have that downloaded as the time of that. But as for the other side of the beta, one cool thing that we haven't seen yet, even in the COD HQ era, is this neat mention of after the beta is over, beta content will automatically be removed during the Season 6 update. So for me, honestly, a lot of the times, like on PlayStation, because I don't play as much on PlayStation, and for previous betas, PlayStation had that week early access, I'd end up having the beta, forget about it, and then come back at like Season 1 of the game's launch and realize, oh wait, I still have that beta install file on my console. That will now no longer be the case, no matter where you're at. If you're like me, maybe you do get rid of that immediately, but for me, it's nice that it'll automatically delete itself here with Season 6. Then the final thing that was mentioned in regards to these sort of new changes upcoming is they mentioned a new user interface coming pre-launch, actually. Not necessarily having to wait until Black Ops 6 launch, though still very close, but a new user interface is coming mid-October, about a week before the launch of Black Ops 6, where that'll be the UI going forward for the COD HQ. They shared a preview of this. Frankly, I'm not sure how to feel about it as a whole just yet. I'm glad we're moving away a bit from what we have right now, but at the same time, it still feels like the core of the COD HQ is going to be embracing that sort of mobile tablet UI. If I'm entirely honest, it kind of feels like a mix between a tablet UI and kind of the Xbox dashboard, which makes sense given the Microsoft acquisition. Maybe that's just me. Let me know if you guys see that as well. But we're not entirely away from that, at least on the upper levels of the COD HQ just yet. It seems like finally, after 2 earlier installments, that the COD HQ now though will actually act as sort of only a housing mechanism for COD titles, especially with the ability to decouple items like Warzone, as we've seen asked for years now at this point. But once you get into Black Ops 6, you'll also see that changes to the game's UI itself could now start to break away fully compared to what we have in the COD HQ. Like what we have for Black Ops 6 is kind of a hybrid of what we've seen with Modern Warfare 3, but other games like Cold War, for quick reference, where you have more verticality rather than just the Huluification of menu UIs. So it seems like the COD HQ top level is going to be a little different than the actual Black Ops 6 menus, but again, this is just preliminary at this point. Now, that said, the final thing that we can touch on is, well, is the COD HQ ever going to be going away? Because while it is nice some of these changes are being made where you don't have to have the base install of certain things like Warzone with every single game, I mean, it still might not be everybody's favorite cup of tea. Well, in their FAQ page, they detailed, our goal is to provide a place where players can come in and enjoy whatever Call of Duty experience they wish. Download and play what you want when you want. This approach also allows us to address technology and content management challenges that occurred when Call of Duty games were separate installs and Call of Duty Warzone was tied to a single annual title, which was Modern Warfare 2019. This reduces the combined file size of multiple titles, promotes faster switching between games for players who play a variety of content, gives Warzone a permanent home where it's not tied to a singular annual title, and allows you to share settings and social features across games. So first glance, doesn't seem like they have any plans on getting rid of it. I feel like with these changes, we're finally seeing the benefits of what COD HQ can be. Again, still not a huge fan of the layout and such, but it seems like we're now finally seeing this just actually have the application where, from the conception of it, it actually makes sense. You have the ability to decouple things. You have the ability to have games as standalone, only sort of being a branch of the COD HQ where you don't have to have anything else. But at the same time, there still are problems presented, like the fact the whole beta build leaked a month early a couple of weeks back here. So like, there's definitely still hurdles here, but I don't think that they're going to take that as a warning as to why you shouldn't have the COD HQ. I kind of thought that maybe that would be the case after we saw this massive leak, because I mean, that's probably one of the biggest leaks we've ever seen in COD history. The whole beta build plus campaign cutscenes were just out there for the world to see a month, upwards of 3 months almost, before the game itself launches. So like, there's definitely problems, and there still are a lot of things to come that we still have to get over, but it seems like they are definitely doubling down here with this, offering more ways for player choice going into it while investing in the infrastructure of the COD HQ. So on one hand, we are seeing a lot of things here fixed out that the last 2 years have created sort of as of problems, but on the other hand, we're not seeing this COD HQ go away. So if that was the hope that you'd see coming out of this, unfortunately, that's not going to be the reality in turn, but it seems like we're at least seeing some progress here, which is definitely nice. So that said, that's where we're going to wrap it up. Let me know your thoughts down below. What do you guys think of these changes to the COD HQ, the Call of Duty experience going forward with Season 5 Reloaded here in Modern Warfare 3, but also Black Ops 6 going more into the future? Let me know your thoughts. Drop a like if you guys enjoyed the video, and make sure to subscribe for more Black Ops 6 coverage. Again, a very busy next 2 weeks here or so that you guys do not want to miss. That I'd love to have you guys in the community. But for now, thanks so much for watching. My name is Espresso. I'll see you later. Take care and peace.